The sun is setting on a giant. After nearly 3 unforgettable decades, the curtain is coming down on the beloved Tshivenda telenovela Mubango. A tapestry of tradition, culture, drama, and love woven into the hearts of millions over its long run on the small screen. It will air its final chapter on Tuesday, the 12th of August at 9 p.m. on SABC2. Mubango was the first Tshivenda drama of its kind on South African television, a bold, proud voice echoing through living rooms from Thohoyandou to Cape Town and everywhere in between. It didn't just tell stories, it preserved a language, elevated a people, and gave life to a culture long underrepresented on national screens. Today we're joined by, we'll have 3 special guests, but let's start with 2 as we close this chapter of South African television history. 2 women who have carried the legacy of Mubango with grace and brilliance. Maumera Mahua, known as Susan, and Innocentia Manchidi, our dear Rendani. They are here to have the conversation with me, and of course a bit later on I'll be joined by Dr. Xolisa Chongolo, just from the language perspective. Maumera, good afternoon. Inno, good afternoon. Thank you for coming through. I was saying off air that this might get a bit emotional. So
actually, as you were reading that, I was getting ready to get emotional because
I told you. That's exactly what I was talking about. You must have tissues ready because the emotions might be flowing from me as opposed to you. And I'm tempted to call you Susan.
It's fine. It's okay.
Maumera, just your reflections on the journey, because you joined almost right at the beginning, right, of Mubango.
I would say that Mubango is one of those places that we have learned. Today, we as black, dark-skinned girls can actually be seen on television in Mubango, and without fighting for who we are, just being, you know, learning cultures, different cultures from Zulu, and just realizing that we are actually African. All of us, instead of being Zulu, Sotho, or Venda, we are African, and we are similar in many ways.
Yeah. And when I was reading, if I stick with you for a moment there, when I was reading what it represented, giving voice to a language and a culture that was previously underrepresented, did that resonate with you? How important was it that Mubango started? Was it in 1997? I think it was. Yeah.
Yes.
April, thereabouts.
Yes.
Yeah.
It was so important I think in the South Africa as a whole, because I do remember that during the time when Mubango comes on television, shops ran out of televisions because people wanted to see the Venda culture, the Venda way of doing things.
Yes.
And I even remember the first time I TX'd, you can't find anybody on the street when Mubango was on television.
Yeah.
You know, and then now suddenly you walk in Northern Cape and you hear somebody say, Henda, you know.
Yeah.
Innocent, just you coming in then, tell me what it represented for you. I imagine that with something like this, it's not just a career move. It must represent you feeling that you are part of a generational mission, isn't it?
Absolutely. I mean, I'm someone that grew up watching the show, you know, and for me it was only just a dream to one day be part of this huge production. So just having watched it for generations even before myself, and then coming in with the younger, newer generation, I mean, it was so humbling, still is. But definitely we came in as this show already had a foundation that we just had to carry on, irrespective of your age, because when we came in, Maumera and them had been around for another 20 years, you know, and then there's us that are coming in much younger than that. And we just had to say, this is the foundation that they've laid, and this is the stories that we're telling, and how do we continue telling those stories, but in a more, you know, younger generation way, in a more fresher way, but still keeping in tune with who we really are as Mubango.
In fact, you pretty much grew up on our screens, didn't you?
I did. I joined the show when I was in high school.
We saw you morphing from this young lady to, you know, coming of age.
Absolutely. Really. I joined the show when I was in high school. I'm in my 30s now,
mid-30s.
So you can imagine I've been around. Yeah, man, it's been a journey, and it's really unbelievable when I think about. For me, people like Maumera, for instance, I'll just use you as an example because you're right. You know, are people that for me, I grew up really just looking up to. So one day working on a set and finding these people and having to compose myself because now these are my colleagues.
You everything in you said you want to scream. You're singing.
Of course.
Your childhood
you're not trying
superstars,
to,
and now you're working with them.
You're trying to not freak them out and
Yeah.
act like, okay, this is normal, knowing very well that it's not. So yeah, man, I really grew up there, and these are some of the people that actually raised me because you get there and you're pretty much clueless, and you're depending on these kind of people to carry you.
I want to bring in Dr. Xolisa Chongolo from the Pan South African Language Board, PanSALB, just from a language perspective and what Mubango and other productions like it represented. Doc, good afternoon, and thank you for joining us. I was saying in the introduction that it was the first Tshivenda language telenovela drama of its kind on a national stage, on national TV. Why did that matter at that point, and why does it continue to matter in a context where there's the prevalence, overwhelming prevalence of English in terms of productions and culture?
Thank you very much, sir, for having me here, and greetings to everyone at the studio there. You know, it matters a lot. It matters a lot, even for the fact that it came to the fore, and now it's worrying now that it's going away. Remember, South Africa is a multilingual country, and as a country, we're struggling to effectively use all our languages as the country, as a multilingual country. So now having soapies such as Mubango and others that are using many languages, especially in minority languages such as Tshivenda, you know, it was very inspiring and very motivating and promising that indeed we are South Africa that's got many languages, and we are South Africa that takes care of its languages, even the minority languages. So a lot has been learned through this drama, including the language itself. For example, those of us who are Xhosa speakers, especially who are in the rural areas, who only know their languages, not any other language. Then for this soapies now, it introduced many of us to this language, Tshivenda, and especially having those translations there, you could follow the soap, you could follow the story, you could relate, and even the culture, you know. So it really mattered a lot, and it's worrying that now we're hearing that
it's what you were talking about,
going to affect South Africa very badly.
It's what you were talking about, Maumera, isn't it?
Yeah.
Just the, not export, because export would mean foreign in a way, but just opening up a world that many other South Africans were not necessarily open to previously.
I think we can also look at the fact that the Venda people were not proudly speaking their language before Mubango.
Yeah.
Venda people are multilingual. They will speak your language in your accent, in your tuning, that you will never tell that they are from Venda. So Mubango came and just made them feel, you know what, this is my language. You know, I get embarrassed by greeting people, how are you? And then people just turn around, Nerion. And then you're like, oh my God,
I'm the problem.
I'm now the issue. You know, and it just became that South Africa is bigger than we thought. You know, there's Sepedi. Well, Sepedi was a bit represented. Then there's Shangaan. Then there is Venda. Then there's Swati. And our languages are plenty. And Mubango is the only drama that decided to merge these languages. I call it language merge because two people can be speaking. One is speaking Venda, one is speaking Zulu, and we are having a conversation.
I do need to get from you, and I know that it's a bit of an unfair question. Let me start with you, Innocentia. Your most memorable moments. If you can do a quick show reel before I wrap it up. Quick show reel for me. What are the most memorable moments for you?
Yeah, there's quite a few actually. Firstly, let me just take it on a personal note. Just me walking on that set, my very first day on set, meeting people like Dr. Dumaga Ndlovu, because that is somebody that I think every actor or every creative really wants to find themselves in their space. But a storyline that stood out for me will be, I think, Albert's death. That's Rendani's father when he died. We made a huge spectacle out of it. It was a whole cultural spectacle as well. took me out of my comfort zone, took a lot of us out of our comfort zone. I remember when they told me that I needed to be topless, I felt like I'm losing my mind. I was like, no, not on national TV. What can we do? How can we? And they're like, you know what? This is our culture. This is what we're teaching people. This is what we have signed up for as Mobango. And those are some of the things that we need to show off as a culture.
Maumela, very quickly from your side as well.
Well, I think for me was the storyline where Azwindini had to become Netate.
Yeah.
I was so proud. And I think the way we approached the story, there were so many meetings between actors and writers, directors and everybody. By the time he became the lion, I just felt like everybody must know we've arrived.
Yeah.
It was amazing.
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to thank you for your time.